Hey, everyone. I'm Becca, he's Matt, and this is Becca's Book Club Adventure. And we finished reading Lightlark by Alex Aster.
We read chapters 33 through 56, the end, and we are here to talk about what happened, discuss our favorite moments, characters, and pick it all apart. Okay, so we finished the book. What was your general impression of part two? How did it compare to the first half?
I enjoyed it. There was a lot of plot shoved into it. And so I'm excited to better understand more of that plot, hopefully in future books.
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually had a little bit of regret. I should have just binge read the book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like it would have flowed better because it was like we got back into it in part two, and then it just
Yeah.
yeah.
Or even done 3 parts to break up the second part into 2 so that you had more time to digest. But I think it's just a weekend book. I think you need to just Friday to Saturday read it all.
Agreed. I would agree. And actually thinking about part two, I don't even know where I would have cut it to make part three. Not a clue.
Nope.
Maybe we should recap the story?
Of the 50th day was a good one. Yes, we should recap the story.
Okay. If anybody listening would like to join in with our conversation, feel free to leave us a comment or review. You can email us at bookclubbybecca@gmail.com, or you can DM us on Instagram at Becca's Book Club Adventure.
Okay, Matt, do you want to kick off the recap?
Let's do it. Our story picks up on day 50 of the Centennial Games, and that means the Betwixt Ball.
It's lavish and apparently the highlight of the century for the island of Lightlark. But as always, with something beautiful comes something ugly.
The end of the ball, at the strike of midnight, marks the moment when rulers can begin unaliving each other. But until then, enjoy the festivities.
Isla attends the ball in a very striking, strategic, and see-through gown. She dances the night away with anyone and everyone before she needs to go get some fresh air. And who does she run into? You guessed it, Grim.
Yeah, the two spend some super quality alone time that leaves all of us a bit pent up. But more importantly, Grim gives Isla a nightshade necklace, which he turns invisible so no one knows she has it, and tells her if she ever needs him to simply pull on it, and he'll come calling.
Isla reappears around 11:30 p.m., and the world goes haywire.
The island begins to disintegrate and come apart. There's a lot of unintentional unaliving in the castle, but Isla corrals King Oro and gets him to put a stop to it.
This event sends shivers throughout the kingdom and the rulers. The castle and the town are largely abandoned, with most rulers and inhabitants fleeing to their respective isles.
It really feels like the clock has sped up, and even for some rulers like Cleo, it's like every man for themselves at this point. I felt like it was kind of like a turning point in the story.
Mm-hmm. As such, King Oro and Isla expedite their search for the heart. On day 53, they are able to question some of the more ancient creatures after Isla is purposefully abducted. But they all learn that the heart never blooms in the same place, but is always where lightness meets darkness.
They take their leave, and Oro begins succumbing to the wounds he took freeing Isla. But she's able to get him to healing waters. But just as he heals up, the sun begins to rise. Thank heavens there's a convenient cave nearby.
The king awakes around midday. To pass time, they play 20 questions. Because why not? It seems that Oro trusts and respects Isla more after saving his life. The game builds even more trust between them.
Some takeaways, right? Oro doesn't know of any relic on the island that could break a curse.
The ancient creatures are unable to lie to Oro.
There are only 8 places that Oro knows of where the heart could be based upon the whole lightness meeting darkness thing.
Based on previous searches and deductions, the heart isn't on Star Isle, Sun Isle, or Sky Isle.
So a couple of days later, Oro flies them to Moon Isle so they can visit an oracle and learn some more details.
The oracle reveals that the heart is closer than they think, that one of the rulers will die by the end of the game, and Isla is surrounded by lies and liars.
That really threw a lot of shade on Oro for me, just saying. Anyhow, as if we didn't know any of that, right? Um, but that night, Isla decides to use the star stick to look in on her homeland because reasons.
Bad idea, friend. It's in shambles. The land is dying, the people are dying, and her guardians are wasting away. Isla will need all of the power to save them.
All of it. So back in the cave, Oro tried to make a deal with Isla. If she tells him her greatest secret, he'll let her win the Centennial Games and claim all the power. But she said no deal at the time.
But the banker called, and Isla tells Doro, deal. And she lets him in on her darkest secret. She was born without power.
In an unprecedented move, King Oro calls a meeting of the rulers on day 60 to switch up the partnerships.
He pairs himself with Cleo to better search Moon Isle.
He pairs Celeste and Azul together because #reasons.
And he pairs Grim and Isla.
But Cleo is super skeptical of all of this, right? So Oro tells everyone why he made his decision. It's because Isla doesn't have any powers.
Before anyone can attack her, Grim takes her hand and they disappear.
Info alert, okay? Grim has a flare that allows him to teleport. Okay.
Grim lets her know that he's always known her secret and he meant every word he's ever said. He'll protect her because the world believes they are monsters and monsters stick together.
With Grim's help, Isla ends up moving into the palace on Wild Isle where she feels that she can be safe.
Ella, her attendant, still comes by each day and Celeste still visits as an ally.
More than anything, though, Isla throws herself a nice pity party for a few days.
She does eventually pull herself together and decides to work with Juniper, the secret trading barkeep again.
Mm-hmm. Note on Juniper, pretty dang certain that in part 1, for some reason, we referred to him as Jasper. Not sure why that happened. Anyway, Juniper, Isla offers a trade with him. Details of her deepest, darkest secret for details of his.
Juniper says he knows who cast the curse. But when Isla shows up to meet him, he's unalived.
One night before she can meet with Juniper, Isla spies Cleo walking through the darkness and decides to follow her all the way back to Moon Isle.
Before Isla can get close enough to see what she's doing, Cleo discovers her and locks her in frozen ice for death.
Isla is freed because, of course, she's freed, but by some of those ancient creatures that just kind of want to eat her. They free her and they begin to fly away.
Yeah,
It's like,
because
yeah.
yeah. So of course Aura shows up and saves her.
Mm-hmm. So when she comes to, Oro tells her everything. How he revealed her secret to earn Cleo's trust and earn access to Search Moon Isle. How he revealed her secret to keep Celeste safe. How he secretly posted guards all around Isla after she left the mainland castle. How his flair is that he always knows when somebody is lying or telling the truth. How their deal is still good to go.
And much like Ross, the story pivots on day 75.
The Caramel Carnival occurs as planned and Isla attends. And, as you do, she gets drunk.
Oro escorts her back to her rooms, telling her they only have two more places to search for the heart. When Isla wakes up, she learns that Celeste has been attacked.
Celeste is literally floating in an incomplete enchantment, but she's not unalive. Isla asks Grimm to make Celeste's body disappear.
Back to Moon Isle, Isla and Oro search for the heart in an abandoned castle that also just happens to be submerged in icy cold water.
Isla dives in and follows a girl through the deeps. Sure, okay. Um, Unsurprisingly, this girl decides to attack her.
This is giving like major Triwizard Tournament vibes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, in a freaky underwater battle, Isla ends up stabbing the girl through the eye and makes it back to the surface to suck down air while Oro heals her wounds.
Which means there's only one place left that the heart could be. It's in Vinderland.
Vinderland lies far beyond the cold snows of Moon Isle. It's so cold and desolate that it's nearly uninhabitable. But a group of wildlings who denounced their loyalty to Wildling long before the curse now live there.
When Oro and Isla arrive, a pack of Vinderlanders attack. But, of course, Isla unleashes her Neo-esque fighting skills while Oro is alive with his firepower. The two leave all the Vinderlanders unalived, cold in the icy snow.
All that effort for nothing. They search and search, but there is no heart.
The sun rises on day 80 along with a feeling of despair, but Isla refuses to give up.
She goes to Oro's room to pick apart the prophecy. To help think, Oro shows Isla the library hidden beneath his rooms.
Yep, in there, they uncover a lot, such as the island wasn't just created by Oro's and Grimm's ancestors, but also by Isla's ancestor, whose name is Lark Crown.
It seems vaguely important.
Mm-hmm.
They take a break from reading, and Isla goes to visit Celeste's hidden body, where she discovers Celeste is holding the diamond ring Isla gave Azul on that very first day.
Isla uses the necklace to immediately call Grimm and starts demanding to know what he hasn't told her, what he's holding back. She demands all the answers.
Grimm, obviously dodging the questions, tells her that she's all he ever thinks about, and the two get a little spicy.
Just a little bit. Mm-hmm. Over the coming days, Isla has an epiphany. Where darkness meets light is both a location and a time of day. And Isla thinks she knows where and when it's gonna be.
On day 90, Isla takes Oro back to Moon Isle.
She follows the alarm bird back to its nest, and they hide in a cave until dawn. And then Isla goes out to the nest to retrieve the egg. The heart. And then she's shot in her own heart with a Vinderland arrow.
Oro burns all of the Vinderlands, but can't leave the cave to save her because sunlight. Isla uses the necklace to call Grimm, and then she's unconscious.
Mm-hmm. She awakens in her room in Grimm's arms. He has used all of her healing elixir to heal her, but he also found some elixir to heal Celeste. Oro flies to her balcony and gives her the heart.
They now have a choice to make to fulfill the prophecy, which ruler's life needs to end. Oro essentially boils it down to two: Celeste or Grimm. It's Isla's choice.
But of course, Isla doesn't want either of those, so she has a plan to save them both because, yeah.
Celeste causes a portion of the castle to begin crumbling to draw Oro out of his rooms. She then slips into the secret library and retrieves the bond breaker. Isla, Grimm, and Celeste then meet at the place on the Wild Isles to break the curse.
But en route to that palace, Grimm comes clean to Isla. And oh boy, this made me sick.
Yeah, so apparently Isla has been using the Star Stick to visit Grimm in Nightshade for a year or so, and the two have quite the romantic history. You see, all those sexy dreams she's been having about Grim were actually memories. Memories he made her forget at Celeste's suggestion.
Distraught, Isla leaves Grim in the forest and rushes to meet Celeste, who pierces her hand and then pierces Isla's hand with the bond breaker just as Grim breaks through the door, closely followed by Oro. But both of those guys are flung back and held against the wall with vines.
Because Celeste isn't Celeste. She's Aurora, the starling ruler betrothed to King Oro's brother, King Eggen, who died the day the curse were cast.
And Bondbreaker is actually Bondmaker, a relic that allows powers to be passed from a ruler to an heir before death.
And because Grim and Oro have both fallen in love with Isla, she has just passed her own and her powers to Aurora, who has bided her time for revenge against Egan. And so she could control all 6 powers and rule all 6 realms.
Hold on, wait a second, Becca. You just said Isla passed her own powers to Aurora?
Mm-hmm.
But I thought she didn't have any powers. Isn't that like the whole crux of this entire story?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm confused too. Well, so as to that, before Aurora can unalive her, Isla grabs the star stick out of her dress and teleports to her room in Wildling. And she grabs her armor and swords and confronts Poppy and learns some things.
What sort of things, Becca?
Isla has both Wildling power from her mother and Nightshade power from her father. The Nightshade power has cloaked her Wildling power all these years. Poppy and Tara unalived Isla's parents and then raised her to believe she didn't have powers because of Aurora's threats.
Okay, damn. Well, okay. After that, Isla starsticks her way back to the Wild Isle Palace and harrowingly battles against the earth elements Aurora wields until she breaks through and uses Bondmaker on Aurora to reverse the powers and then unalive her.
The earth opens up and Aurora falls into it, followed by the heart and Isla.
But Isla is saved when Oro casts a vine to catch her around the waist and haul her back to safety.
How can Oro control earth elements, you might be asking? It's because Isla loves Oro, not Grim.
Feeling betrayed and confused, Grim disappears.
The prophecy has been fulfilled and the curses are broken.
In the aftermath, here's what's happened.
Isla returns the powers to their rightful owners before spending 2 weeks cloistered in her rooms and a bathtub.
Grim returns to Nightshade in shame and betrayal.
Cleo cuts the bridge connecting Moon Isles and the mainland.
Azul watches the cursed storm dissipate around Lightlark and maybe talks to his dead husband once more before he can finally rest in peace.
Oro sends sweets, foods, and clothing to Isla's room until she lets him in. They begin to work through the trauma and find a way to let love shine.
And together, they make their way back to the Wild Isle Palace, where Isla has discovered how to open the hidden compartment. She uses her crown. Hey everyone, we need to interrupt the show for just a moment to thank this episode's sponsor.
That's right. This episode is brought to you by Twisted Overlord Incorporated, proudly helping authors cram 8 jaw-dropping reveals into the final third of a book since yesterday?
Whether you're revealing secret identities, surprise betrayals, hidden powers, or sudden romantic connections that no one asked for, Twist Overload Inc. has your back.
Their patented plot whiplash technology guarantees your reader will never see it coming, mostly because it makes questionable narrative sense.
Includes bonus features like, wait, she was who this whole time? And you're telling me he's the love of her life?
Side effects may include confusion, rereading entire chapters, yelling "what?" at the ceiling, and reluctantly buying the sequel.
Here at Plot Twist Inc., the name of the game is to not get attached to anything. Not the rules, not the relationships, definitely not the plot.
Twist Overlord Incorporated, because consistency is for cowards.
Okay, back to the show.
So is your advertisement a reflection on how you feel about the end of this book?
But not this book in particular, like more like all of them.
Right. Right.
And I think it's more a reflection of trying to summarize rather than read, because reading, awesome. Summarizing, not so fun.
Yeah. Yeah. As we were putting this all together, I was like, oh my gosh, this is 9 pages. But also, I don't know how to make it shorter.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Um, okay. You want to, let's dive into what happened a little bit.
Should we start with
Um,
which twist did you see coming?
I saw, I called it last episode, Celeste wasn't Celeste. And I knew that BIU know what was going to pull something. I didn't know what she was going to pull, but she pulled something.
Yep. Check, check.
Check, check. Um, pretty sneaky that she was the one that cast the curses.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a little bit kind of, I'm not so sure if I like the whole jealous girlfriend type of trope being used in this instance.
It's not my favorite.
No,
And I hope that we learn more about those relationships because we don't get much of those characters in this book.
no. I think, I mean, we'd have to look at it, but I'm pretty sure there's like a zero point 0.5 book. There's like a prequel that
Mm.
she is writing or already wrote, so, something like that. So maybe that's
Maybe that's there.
what it all is.
That could be
Um,
really cool.
yeah, I was just really suspicious of Celeste because so she's not that much older than Isla. So like I understand why from a narrative sense the two would bond or whatever, because they're both quote young, but Isla was messing up so much and Celeste was just helping her for like no reason. There is zero ROI on a lot of the help Celeste was offering. And I was just like, this is fishy. Super fishy.
Well, obviously, because we needed to go get the bond maker and steal all the powers.
Mm-hmm. Um, did you see any of the twists coming?
I was on board with the Celeste twist. The twist that came that I don't like is that Isla likes Oro? Question mark? I don't believe it.
So I'm super curious. So, like, the whole concept is that love allows you to give the other person access to your powers, right? Um, and like, it almost feels like it's not love; it's like trust.
Yes.
Um, I mean, Alex Aster did a pretty good job of forcing Isla and Oro together a lot, and the whole like Oro has never lied to her, and they like build trust along the way. But I think I agree with you that I didn't see it coming. And I think I didn't see it coming because not once in the entire book did Isla think Oro was physically attractive or even trustworthy or down to earth or anything likable.
Right? Like, they definitely developed a strong working partnership. And I'm with you. A strong working partnership is necessary in a romantic relationship, but can also occur separate from that.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciated the devastation that we got with Grimm. But just because you're devastated in that relationship doesn't mean you suddenly just like the other person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't really like. It was a nice twist insofar as I think I said last time that like the young girl and the shadow daddy trope is
Yeah.
so common. So it's kind of like it's nice that she isn't picking the shadow daddy, even though I kind of feel like the shadow daddy is the actual love of her life and that there's going to be some love triangle for a hot minute in the future.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, book 2 is a love triangle that we're just gonna
for
sit through.
sure. For sure. Um, I did not. I was 100% on board with you. I think you called out that you thought that Isla was going to be the heart. And 100% I was on board with that. I didn't foresee it being some weird, yolky, golden blob that came out of an egg.
Yeah, the description of the heart was confusing on so
Hmm.
many levels. Listen, I get that it could be a rock. It doesn't have to be a human heart situation. A golden egg was not really what I saw for an island heart.
Mm-mm. And I feel like there's some like logistical problems with that. How do you keep it? Is it liquid? Is it not liquid? I couldn't really
I
understand
assumed
that.
it was not liquid. I assumed it was like an egg in its shell situation. But then to that point, does it break?
Like I swear I remembered her describing it as like yellow and yolky in her
Hmm.
hand, like the egg cracked and what was inside the egg was the heart. And like the egg cracking was how it bloomed, or it was like just weird.
Yeah. I did appreciate the twist of the fate of dusk or dawn is when you have to find it. That was very clever.
Yes, yes. I liked that, and I especially liked it because it made um the curses on Nightshade and Sunling actually feel like there was a reason for those.
Purposeful.
Because obviously Nightshade you can't go out at night and the Sunlings can't go out during the day. So it's really up to
Isla.
Isla to be the one to find it. So that's kind of a cute couple of details.
Hmm.
Um, can I know you mentioned it. I kind of want to get your take on the whole Grim erasing her memories thing.
It's just so icky feeling.
Yeah, I okay, so I guess part of the summary that I left out is he did that not because he's a bad guy and not because he was like graping her and wanted her to forget or something, but because Aurora as Celeste like convinced him that the way to win the Centennial Games was to have Isla seduce Oro and steal his powers.
Yeah.
So he erases her memories so that she won't be in love with him, so that she'll be free to fall in love or seduce Oro or whatever. So like I guess that's what am I trying to say? Like a little bit of light in the dark.
Yeah,
It's
like it's not gross, gross, but there's part of you that's like, you didn't have a moral backbone to stand on?
Mhm.
You didn't think that maybe that crossed one too many lines? So you will use your relationship to get out of this curse, which we kind of knew baseline all of them would do that.
Mhm. I also feel like so Grim never went to the games ever.
Mm-mm.
So why not just stay home for these games and be like, "Hey Isla, don't tell anybody about our relationship."
But then does that go back to the prophecy that the prophecy couldn't be broken? But was Celeste even trying to break it, Aurora? Celeste Aurora?
No, I think she wanted the curse to remain and she could be all powerful.
Right. And does Grim really want that? I don't know.
I don't think so. Um Pretty fascinating that she always had powers.
Yeah. I don't know how believable this is that your nightshade powers are just covering up your wildling powers. How?
Yeah, I feel like so obviously because Ela believes that she is powerless, we don't ever get and we don't have any point of views from any of the other rulers. We never ever get any sort of description of like what it feels like
Hmm.
to have power or how they wield it. But in other stories that we've read, there's always the feeling of the power.
Hmm.
And the feeling is always different, but like the characters know that the power is there, and sometimes the power is filling them up or knocking on the door to be used or something. So I feel like, sure, okay, the Nightshade powers were cloaking the Wildling powers, but at some point, especially after 18 or 19 years of them being pent up, wouldn't they ever swell and she would just feel this like something's going to burst out of her at some point?
Right? And I can fully support that the Nightshade powers are cloaking the Wildling powers, but wouldn't that mean that you still have access then to your Nightshade powers? And then I could also understand that these, whatever Poppy's title would be, these people helping to support would want to suppress the Nightshade stuff, but wouldn't she be aware that she had Nightshade and she just shouldn't use it and that that's politically incorrect to use them? You know what I mean?
Yeah, something like that. Like I just feel like she would definitely would be able to feel some type of power inside her. Maybe you don't know how to use it. If nobody's ever taught you, you don't know how to use it, that's fine. But at some point you just feel it.
Hmm.
You might not know what you're feeling. I don't know. I agree with you. It's a little bit unbelievable. Um okay. I think we anything else we need to like be negative about?
No, I mean, overall, I actually really liked this book.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I did too. Um That's kind of where I wanted to pivot to. Like, oh, we're really dragging this thing through the mud, but I actually liked the story.
Right? I really liked the story. It
um,
felt like a Clue version, you know?
a
Who's
little
who,
bit.
in what room, with what weapon.
Yeah, I thought Alex Aster did a really good job with a lot of the who's done it elements.
Mhm,
The amount of red herrings in this story and the amount to which you believe that what that the red herring is the true villain amazed me. For example, Azul
mhm,
and Celeste steals the diamond ring, whatever. I 100% was like, oh, yes, it's Azul. Of course it is. He's not been on the page. He's not had any screen time. He's been quietly like scheming in the background and now he's being uncovered. Of
yep,
course it's him. Like, um, I think the entire book, there's always shade being thrown on Oro.
mhm,
He's dying, so he'll do anything. He's reckless.
yeah,
Um, Clearly with Grimm, you're like, okay, Shadow Daddy, he's kind of never there when the island disintegrates. And like, why is he teasing these feelings out of Isla, but then he disappears for 2 weeks? And like, there's a whole lot of, and then of course, Cleo was the biggest red herring. I never thought she's planning something though. And then Celeste, anyways, I'll just say Alex Aster did a really good job making you believe it was everybody.
yeah.
The cool clue thing.
And I wanna read the next book, and that's what matters.
I'm I actually think that the next books are going to be so much better. I think we've been set up for love triangles. I think we've been set up for wider world building, like with the whole like Grimm is protecting the rest of the realms from some bigger. I think we've been set up for a whole crap ton of political turmoil at this point.
Yep, we're gonna learn a lot more about the magic system from the point of view of someone learning their magic for the first time, which is always fun.
And two sources, that'll be
Mhm,
cool. Not to mention if she's in love with Oro or Grimm, or like, does she have access to their powers? And so is it more than just two
mhm.
powers? Um, no, I think it's I. I think you did. I think you had a really good pick here, Becca.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? I know we could like talk about reviewing the book and everything, but we will usually save that for a different episode.
Yeah. So I think we should just put a bookmark in it for now. We'll be back with the whole Lightlark
The whole
review.
shebang. Yeah. So don't forget to leave a comment or send us an email. Our contact info is in the description down below.
Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.